That sustains me pretty well. I feel like this doesn't sound super spiritual, but I've learned that I really have to kind of get outside of the box with my relationship with Jesus, and that's like what gets me through every season. Because I sometimes start to like think in my head that it has to look a certain way or be a certain way. And before I had kids, I had like all the time in the world. I mean, now having kids, I'm like, what did I do with my life before I had them? Like all this time, so much time. And now with them, it's like, I feel super blessed if I get like 5 minutes to just be with Jesus. I just take it where I can. And at first, this was like really discouraging for me and really hard. And I was like, how am I going to sustain my life on this? And I felt like the Lord said, Kim, I'm not limited to time like you are, and I can do whatever I want in 2 minutes or 2 days, and I can do something really profound and amazing in the amount of time that you are willing and able to give me. And so I just try to take advantage whenever I can, any moment I get with Jesus, and that's what sustains me. But I've also had to get outside of the routine, which for me looks like getting up into the mountains, being outside. We should plan that. But yeah, just ways to connect with Jesus that are outside of just the normal, I guess.
Anybody else?
I would say a lot of the same thing. Actually, I grew up, in a house of prayer, a prayer room, so we were very regimented as to our prayer life. But I have found, as I've gotten older, I need to get outside and be in nature, with God wherever I am. So one of the ways I've learned to sustain it is to live with God. Instead of just thinking, I'm going to go to the prayer room or to the worship service. Yeah. There I'm going to be with God. But He wants to live with me, like be with me all the time. And your brain, your mind is made for prayer. You constantly have this conversation. You constantly see pictures. And all you have to do, you're taught, like, so much of my time I'm talking to people I'm irritated at, or I'm talking to the problem I'm trying to solve, or whatever, somebody's attention I'm trying to get, and the Lord is like, I'm the only one on your planet. Like, I'm the only one in there. Just turn the conversation to me. When you're driving, when you're just sitting in line, and so much of our life is lived on the other side of our faces, and the only person there is God, you and God. And so I've learned to just take the thoughts, not constantly, I don't get into a striving, but just learning to commune with Him in my inmost being, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. And then the other thing is, when I was younger, man, I would freak out every time I would go through the dark night of the soul, and I would think, the presence of God is not with me. I've done something wrong. I couldn't feel Him, I couldn't feel Him, and I would freak out. And I've learned to just stay calm. You do your part, and He will do His part. Don't freak out in the highs, and don't freak out in the lows. When He shows up big time, don't think, this is it, I have arrived. Because in the next wave, He's not going to be there, or you're not going to feel it. So I've learned to just stay calm, stay steady, don't freak out, and just know that the little conversation that goes on in my head is really all He's after. And then being outside, I totally agree with that. I've been wanting that a lot.
Yeah, I have really been learning. So I grew up in, how many of you guys are Assemblies of God? Either, if you're currently, don't raise your hand, but how many of you used to be Assemblies of God? Anybody? Well, so I grew up that way. Okay, so total AG, love it, but little backstory, by the way. Did a whole little thing called Fine Arts, totally won the preaching competition nationally, all right? I'm a good preacher. You don't know it yet, but I am. Anyway. And for some reason, it was turned into a competition. How you judge that, I have no idea. But what I was going to say was, I was brought up in this whole kind of tradition or even mindset of a lot of works, a lot of, are you spending 2 hours a day in prayer? Are you reading the Bible? Did you memorize the scriptures? Blah, blah, blah. And I realized as I get into, older, I feel like I just entered into adulthood now that I have a child. I actually stopped thinking about myself and I'm not dumb anymore. I realized, well, I probably still am, but I realized that I cannot sustain off of all this stuff. I just, like what you were saying, it's just a lifestyle. Everything, I can't just come to a thing like this and then leave and be like, yes, this is what I'm going to live on for the rest of the time, because that won't sustain. And the lows won't sustain. The in-betweens won't sustain. It's always different. It's always a journey. And I just have learned that I just got to be with the Holy Spirit, be with Jesus in everything. Even when I'm changing my kid's poop diaper, you know, and it gets in my hands and I'm dry heaving. That has happened. It's weird. I feel the Holy Spirit during those times. I'm like, oh, like, Jesus, you're so real, you know. And at the same time, that's how I wanted to throw up. But seriously, it's life. It's in the poop. I'm just saying. Anybody else?
I mean, that's perfect. I love this because everyone is so different and unique, and you have to find your way through those slumps. But I try to remember the light. I like, wait, I'm feeling really bad. I got to remember what you did. You know, the Israelites kept forgetting. I don't want to forget. You know, I want to remember. I try to remember. Cameron says, don't say the word forget, just say remember. You know, I remember you, I remember you. Because, man, I can slump like nobody's business, you know, just where am I going? Also, I keep this little book. It's called My Little Truth Journal. It's really tiny. Whenever I hear a lie, I write it down, and then I write the opposite of the lie. Then I look up every scripture that goes with the opposite of that lie. I call it my little lie journal, and then I thought, hey, I'm going to change that to my little truth journal. Don't focus on that, you know. So yeah, I process through going outside, riding my bike, poetry. I hope no one ever reads that. My Lord, if anyone gets all those books, some gritty, nasty stuff in there. Because when I get mad, it's in the pages. Like no one's ever going to read it, my friend. I want to I'm going to get ready to write a whole poetry book dedicated to the devil. Stick it where... This is why I'm so popular. So anyway, processing your life is the best. You get the bad times, you process, you're going to grow. You get the good times, enjoy it. You're going to grow. It's just, this journey is just fantastic. It's fantastic. Find your way through it all.